My name is Brandon Armstrong. I am 39 years old, born September 19th, 1971.
Okay, okay. But what are you doing on Mill?
Well, I got screwed over by the Veterans Administration.
How's that?
Well, I'm a vet, obviously.
Okay.
And I got screwed out of all the benefits that was guaranteed to me when I went into the Marine.
So where are you living?
Well, if you look over here, I got a backpack, zippers bags.
This is where you're living?
Not right here, but in a similar situation
Don't
with
the
everything
police
packed.
keep you out of here?
No, because I do artwork.
Okay. So this is the artwork you're doing?
Yeah, this is how I make my money, my living. This is how I feed me and my wife and my dog.
This is your wife?
This is my wife, Rain.
Hi. Are you painting too?
She does tarot readings and other things, and she plays the flute.
How long have you been on Mill?
I've been here about a week because, we can't stay places too long because we're not welcome.
What happens?
Well, we get snooty looks from people who live around here. It's not illegal to be homeless, but it's illegal to sleep anywhere, apparently.
Right.
If you lay your head down anywhere around here, they call it urban camping, and you get a ticket for it.
Okay. Have you got any tickets like that?
In several places I've gotten
Really?
tickets. Just this morning, it's my wife's birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Just this morning, I was sleeping in the ASU parking garage. We got woken up by two police officers. Our names ran and told to pack our stuff within 30 minutes or they were taking us to jail.
At least they gave you 30 minutes.
So you, okay.
I mean, on a real note, man, it's ridiculous that you give food to these food banks, you give food to these charities, you give food and money to all these places. You know who gets that stuff? Mostly children. Mostly children and mostly people who don't really need it, who have places over their head.
So how much do you make a day doing this stuff?
Sometimes I make nothing. Sometimes I go without food.
But how much can you make selling the stuff on Mill?
How much can I do that make selling us a meal?
Yeah.
It depends on if it's a football game or if it's a Friday
Just give
night.
me like generally. How much can you make?
Probably $50.
Yeah? So
Yeah.
what do people pay for one of your paintings?
Probably. I mean, it depends on the person, really.
But on average, what do you think?
I've sold them from anywhere from 10 to 40. And that was from donations from people.
Yep.
I always tell people $10 for a painting.
Okay.
But
Let me show the paintings.
the main issue here is not that to end homeless, to give to food pantries and to give to charities. Come out here and interact with the homeless.
Why?
Because once you interact with somebody who's in a situation such as we're in, you'll see that the charities that give these things away to people only give them away to subsidize their homelessness. There is no social services to help people uplift themselves off the streets without a massive amount of paperwork, without a massive amount of red tape.
So what would it take? What would it take to get you off the streets?
What would it take to get me off the streets? Well, first, I would need a job. Everybody's talking about how, you need to get a job, you need to
Have
get
you had a job before?
Yeah, I've had several.
What'd you do?
Well, I've worked like McDonald's and stuff like that, and carnivals, and...
So why aren't you doing that now?
Why am I doing that now? Because carnivals are out of season.
What about McDonald's? That's in season.
McDonald's in Burnsville, North Carolina told me that they don't hire homeless people without an address. You can't get hired at a McDonald's without an address. That is what they told me.
Have you been at Tumbleweed, where you can have an address at Tumbleweed?
I can't go to Tumbleweed.
Because you're too old.
Yeah, and I'm afraid to go to shelters because of the diseases that flow around those places.
The shelters
they're not really good places.
Seriously, dude.
Shelters, they let anybody in there, long as they're not drunk or high, and they don't have a cleanliness of them that would meet any standards of a living situation.
So what's your plan?
Well, my plan is to do this till I have enough money to get off the street.
Are you saving money?
I would be saving money if I had a place to put it.
So you got to spend it all. You spend it all when you make it.
Yeah, because I got to feed my pregnant wife, and I've got to feed my dog, and I've got to feed myself.
You got a dog too. I missed the dog.
I got to feed myself. My dog, by the way, for all you people out there who don't like homeless people having dogs, my dog eats before I do. Before my wife does. We carry a sleeping bag and water constantly for our dog, and 25 pounds of dog food at all times. So people who have dogs at the house and have people going over and taking care of them, mine's with me 24/7 and eats like a queen.
So let's talk about how you're getting off the streets. When are you going to not be homeless?
When am I not going to be homeless? When somebody finally actually gives a damn and gives somebody a chance to do something instead of going off basic qualifications that come out of a textbook.
Do you have a felony record?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I walked in on a 35-year-old man trying to molest an 11-year-old girl, and I beat the crap out of him.
Did you go to
And
jail?
because of that, I was spent 3 years in prison for negligent use of weapon because my hands are registered because of my Marine Corps training.
You spent 3 years in prison?
Yeah, I got a felony.
Jeez. So it's tough to get a job when you have a felony.
Yeah,
That's the
but
problem.
I shouldn't have even been there. If
Did you have a
they-
lawyer? You had a public defender.
a public defender? You mean a public pretender?
Yeah. Okay.
Those people, they eat at the same lunch table, man. They're sitting there going, "Hey, I'll
Who-
buy your dinner if you let this."
Who
kid
sits at
go."
the same lunch table?
The public defender and the state attorney.
And
They-
the prosecutor. The
Yeah,
prosecutor
they
and the
sit at
defenders,
same table.
they're buddies.
I've seen it do it.
Yep.
Ask a specific question.